Howdy class, there seems to be a lot of confusion around how I am putting these storefront windows into Revit and making them look decent. So I just wanted to make a quick tutorial on how I'm doing that and what it looks like when it's done. So to do that, I am just going to click on level 1, and I'm not actually going to do this in my building at all. I'm going to build a wall just outside of the building somewhere so that you can see what I'm doing and understand how it works. So when I select wall, I'm just going to take a basic wall that they have in the program already and put it in out here somewhere so that the wall is built. Hit escape a couple times, and there is my basic wall right there. If I go to view and 3D, apparently it's sitting up there in the air. Oh no, it's down on the ground. But there's my basic wall, which would be any of these walls that are in the commercial building. So if I go back to my floor plan, if I want to put the storefront windows in, I'm going to go up to architecture and I'm going to select wall. And then the wall that I'm going to choose is the storefront curtain wall. And then when I do that, what I want to do is I don't want to replace the whole wall. You kind of want to start somewhere inside the wall, like there. And then just stretch across the wall, and wherever I go to, click, now that curtain front window is going to appear. I'm going to hit escape a couple times, so just keep in mind that those little arrows, you want those on the outside. It's just like a regular wall. The arrows go on the outside because that shows you the exterior face. And what I did was I just inserted that curtain front wall, there we go, into the wall that already exists. So if I go to the 3D view and take a look at it, you'll see what that looks like. It took out the part of the wall where I inserted it and put the glass front in its place. Now because the wall already existed before I started this, the wall is still there. So one of the things that's kind of interesting to do right now is if I click on that curtain front, you can see I got the two little arrows. If I wanted to change the width of it, I'd have to go back into level 1. And I'd have to grab these little draggers here and I could drag it like that to change the width, but that's the only way to do that. So if I go back into the 3D view, if I wanted to change the size of my window, if I click on the window, there are some arrows here and I can drag those down. And notice that when I drag that down, and it's taking it a second while it's thinking about what I'm doing, the brick that was there automatically comes back in, because basically I inserted this window into that wall. So the wall is still there. And I could do the same thing with this arrow on the bottom. I could drag it up. I don't like doing it that way because if you look at what it's doing now, the base constraint's at level 1 and it's right down there at the ground. I could change the base constraint to be at 2 feet if I wanted to. And you'll see it's going to pop up 2 feet now after it has had an opportunity to think. Maybe I'll hit apply. There it goes. And you can see it jumped up 2 feet from the bottom. Here's why I don't like dragging it around with that little arrow. If you look at what it did, the top constraint is the second floor structure. And now the top offset is 2 feet, 3 inches, and 31 1/28 of an inch. Like nobody measures like that. So instead of doing that, I would just rather say, you come in over here and say, okay, my top constraint is going to be negative 2 foot 3 inches, because that's a window that you can make. You can't make a window that's 2 feet 3 inches and 31 1/28. It just doesn't make sense. So I would choose to modify where the top of that window is by using offset constraints rather than dragging it around with those little arrows. You could drag it with the arrows to aesthetically get what you're looking for, and then once you do that, pick a measurement that's more of a standard measurement that would be fairly close. So if you look at what I did actually in my commercial building here, I did put a storefront window in, and I just changed the dimensions so that it started at level, that's not it. I just want to grab my window here if I can. It started at the base of the building, level 2, and it's up 10 foot 6 inches in the air, and then from my top offset, which was my roof level, I'm going down 1 foot 6 inches, and that makes this nice little window that's appearing in the middle of my building. It looks great. The other thing that I want to show you with the storefront windows would be how I would put a door into those. And so I'm just going to use this one over here that I'm modeling right now. Let's say I want to put a door right here where these two panels are. The first thing you need to do is get rid of some of these mullions that are here. It's part of the framing system for the door. You could leave that one in actually if you wanted to, but you certainly need to remove this mullion at the bottom. So I clicked on it and I'm going to unpin it and then hit delete. And now that mullion's gone, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to click on it, missed. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to click on just the there it is, unpin it and delete. And now those are gone. And typically you do see the center thing here out, but I'll do it with it in there. I'm just going to hover over any part of my window now so that something turns blue. Right now the whole window unit's blue. Now the center mullion's blue. And once I do, you can just hover so any part of the window is selected. And then I'm going to press tab until I get the window pane. Oh, maybe it won't let me do it with that center mullion in there. It won't. So I'm going to delete that, remove, delete. I'm just going to hover, tab, tab. Oh, there's a window pane. Click. So now that I've clicked on it, I could go here to edit type. And I can actually load in some of the windows that we have in the system now, right here by pressing load. And when I press load, if I go to doors, I believe they're right there. Yeah, there it is. Here's the double glass window. Here's a double storefront, and here's a single. So I could select one of those and open it and bring it into the program now. And then just hit OK, and I should be good. There it is. If I don't like that particular one, I can exit back out of that. So I'm going to reverse and go back. I'm going to hover over, hit tab a few times, click. So I select my glass plane. I'm not going to go load in another one because I've already done that. So if I look over here now, I'll have some of those things that I've loaded in here. Like here's the single glass. Here's the double one that I just put in. If I select single glass, that's what it looks like with the door handle. Every time I press spacebar now, the door flips to a different position. So spacebar, 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 spacebar. And I could do the same thing with the window right next to it. Click or tab, tab, there's my window, click. Since I've loaded them in already, they're over here in my panel, spacebar, spacebar, no, I want the other one, that one. And there you go, I put a double door in into the curtain wall, and it looks pretty nice. So that was a quick tutorial on how to add a curtain wall or a storefront window to your building and install the doors into them. Hopefully that helps with the confusion that's out there, and go ahead and keep working on your library.